On behalf of your host, Steve D, this is Bruce Buffer saying thank you for tuning in to Xtreme Lyfe. And now, this is the moment Xtreme Lyfe fans around the world have been waiting for. It's time!
This is Steve D. Welcome to Xtreme Lyfe. Joining me today is pro MMA fighter in the lightweight division. He is a professional MMA fighter with a professional record of 2 wins, no losses, fighting out of Long Island, New York, training with Law MMA on Team Sarah Longo, Justin Kid Marvelous Montalvo. All right, brother. Hey, thanks for coming on. That wasn't too bad, right? That was all right. I almost sounded like a ring announcer for a minute.
Yeah, I thought I was about to just fight right now. It's great.
Just don't fight me. I'm all. No, man, thanks for coming on, man. And, you know, I want to say congrats on your recent victory over Charlie Radke at Triton FC 18 on March 27th. That was a phenomenal performance. I mean, you're just kicking ass, man. What's the secret? What's the secret sauce you got going on?
Secret sauce is years of experience, years of getting my ass kicked and learning from it and evolving into this savage I am now. And yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. Like a long amateur career. Now I'm here. I'm looking to do everything right now.
Yeah, and I was looking at that. I mean, you were an amateur for a while, and you've been fighting for how long? I mean, I think 13 or 14 years old. How old were you when you started?
Yeah, my first amateur fight, I was 16.
16. But you started training you obviously didn't start training at 16, right?
Yeah.
When did you start training?
14, yeah.
14. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. And you walked into, I mean, did you give me a little bit about that journey. What was that journey for you? How did you start? What got you into it?
Well, I first started out in school. I always wanted to learn jiu-jitsu, and I had a cousin that he was messing around with jiu-jitsu as well. We were at a family function, like a barbecue. We're all hanging out and whatever, and then we're on the front lawn. He's like, "Yeah, come over here," and he freaking throws me in an arm bar, and I'm like, "What the hell was that?" I'm like, I gotta learn more of that. He's like, "Yeah, I learned from this guy. His name is Franco Yegi, Bam Bam." He's an MMA fighter from our town, West Hempstead. He was 3-0 as an amateur. So I was like, yeah, I learned from him. So I started doing private lessons with him at Ray Longo's. And I'm just like, wow, once a week is just not enough. I need to do every day. I was obsessed with it. I fell in love with the first lesson. I was like, this is so awesome.
So you were hooked. You were hooked from that point forward. And you said Ray Longo's place, right? You're talking about Longo, Law MMA in New York, in Long Island. And, that's a legendary gym, legendary striking coach, Ray Longo. I mean, what is that like working out in that gym, training in that gym? I mean, there's a ton of UFC people that have come through that gym and champions and Matt Serra, Chris Weidman. I mean, all these amazing names have come through there. What's it like training there, man?
Man, it was so awesome. Just meeting Ray, meeting everybody, and seeing all these fighters. I had no idea who they were at first, but then as when I started training there, I started to look up UFC more and get more into it, and I was realizing whoa, these guys are crazy, the real deal,
Yeah,
they're
no joke.
Yeah, and I remember the guy that was helping me out. He said, "Where do I want to get my foundation? Where do I want to start?" And I chose, even though I came in for jiu-jitsu, that's what really brought me in, the gi, and then I said striking because I think I did striking with him, and I just fell in love with it. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, yeah, I want my foundation to be striking, and then that's what it became.
All right, so you were kind of, asked at that point, what would you like your kind of foundation to be but yet, you have a very strong jujitsu background as well, right? So,
Yeah.
and this is one thing that comes up a lot, and I often go into this with a lot of fighters is, the game has changed a lot. You can't be a one-dimensional fighter these days, right? You have to have skill both standing and on the ground because, it's not the old days where, you had a jujitsu fighter against a striker and that was the kind of the element, right? Now it's, everybody kind of does everything, and you have to. How important is that? How important do you think that is to be that well-rounded as a fighter?
Yeah, I think it's really important to know everything. Like when you really see it, even when Kamaru Usman fought Masvidal, you saw Kamaru Usman. He's just great everywhere. He's got great wrestling. When you have great wrestling in MMA, it makes your stand-up even deadlier because now you have someone worried about the takedown. It's another threat to the game. So you need to make yourself you need to be a threat in every area.
Yeah, you have to be dangerous everywhere, right? Because this way, if someone's kind of, you might get into a situation where someone is kind of getting the better of you in one area, so you want to throw them off their game, right? You want to make them worry about that takedown, make them worry about the leg attack, make them worry about getting kicked in the head and knocked out. I mean, who the hell saw the Masvidal thing happening the way it did? I mean, that was at 261. I mean that. I've never seen Masvidal go down like that.
No, never.
No.
That was unbelievable.
But, Usman is no joke. That's what it comes down to. And people don't often understand, when you get to that level and you're dealing with the UFC and those fighters, you're talking about, this game has levels to it, right? And you could agree or disagree with me if you want, but, it has levels to it. It's like you have the amateur level, which is kind of like, that's your training ground, right? That's your proven. That's where you make all your mistakes, you learn. Or you make a lot of mistakes there, you learn. Then you go to pro, and it's a whole other level.
Yeah.
Right? Because
exactly.
you're 2-0 as a pro fighter, which is extremely impressive. What was that transition like going from amateur to pro? Was it something that just kind of happened organically, or was it something that you did you feel the difference immediately when you kind of went into the ring or into the cage for the first time with a pro fighter as opposed to an amateur?
That's like a funny thing is because I've always been working with pros at Longos, so I was always sparring with pros and stuff like that. And I'm the type of fighter that just gets better as it goes on. But I always wanted to go pro, and Ray was always telling me, don't rush it, and just take the right steps. And at first it got me. At first, I was a little impatient. I wanted to go pro so bad, but Ray made me take the right steps, and it ended up working out perfectly. So
yeah. Do you think that was a big benefit to you? Kind of holding out, waiting, doing a bunch of amateur fights. How do you think that helped you along the way?
Yeah, it definitely helped too, and it was like I didn't know where I wanted to go at first. Because I fell in love with the kickboxing, and Ray was a kickboxing trainer, and Ray had a bunch of kickboxing guys in the beginning, and he also likes bringing up kickboxers, not only MMA guys.
Yep.
So at first, I was in the amateur circuit scene at the Capital, so like Lou Neglia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with him, I was fighting there. Had about like 8 fights there, and then. There was this boxing coach at my gym, Keith Hewitt.
Okay.
And I got boxing work with him. And then I chose to go a different route. And then I was about like 20 years old. And then I chose to fully dedicate myself to MMA. But when I was boxing for about 2 years, I was sparring. I took a bunch of amateur boxing fights. So then it was a good experience in the stand-up world. And I was like, I need to I forgot what happened, but someone was telling me to go the MMA route because they thought it suited my style. And they thought I could do well in the in the MMA scene.
Yeah.
So then I made that switch over, and then I started going to law every day, learning. We had an MMA class that really helped me out. And then I learned how to wrestle against the cage. And then I fell in love with the grappling again. Because I was grappling previously, but it was kind of like I was on and off with it. And then I went into the striking realm and I fell in love with it. But then ultimately I came back and now I'm here to stay. And it ended up being good that I went into the striking realm because now my striking is really dangerous.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then now I'm getting my ground game dangerous. And, I'm going to Sarah's every day. So now my ground game is dangerous. So I really feel complete. I feel deadly everywhere.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can't beat the grappling and the ground game of Matt Serra and the training there, right? I mean, that's like, Matt Serra's a legend.
Yep.
And a true champion, right? So, I mean, he basically, you're learning from one of the best in the world. And, I mean, that's got to be priceless. And then you got Ray Longo on the other side with all the striking. So you got two, I mean, that's just an amazing, and whenever I interview somebody from Law MMA, usually it's a Serra Longo, combination, right? So you have this best of both worlds, right? That goes into this. And what I'm hearing you say is that, it's invaluable training, but I'm also hearing you say the longer the fight kind of goes on, the more dangerous you might become, right? Is that kind of, am I right on that?
Yeah. I used to really be that way. Like a little too much to where it didn't favor me in the amateur fights because, it's a short time limit. Amateurs like go, but I really think I learned how to go, but my cardio is insane still to the point where I'm getting stronger as it goes still, even though I'm really going hard in the first round. I can go hard every round. 15 minutes is nothing to me. Like I train all day. So
is that like what you're doing now? I mean, that's kind of like, what does your training look like right now as far as your schedule? I mean, do you do AM, PM work? Do you do, just in the evenings? Do you do just in the mornings? Or, what does it look like? You're a pro fighter. Tell my audience what a pro fighter schedule looks like. I mean, that's a question I get asked sometimes as well. So as far as, when I talk to people, they're really wondering what that looks like.
Yep. I wake up, I go to Sarah's right away, either gi or no gi, like gi's every other day. Mm-hmm. I go to Sarah's, I get my jiu-jitsu work in. I try to roll as much as I can until everybody leaves, or I get as many rolls as I can.
Are you the last one there? Are you the last one there?
I always be the last one. Yeah, I try.
First one in, last one to leave, right?
I try to have them kick me out. So then after the grappling, I grapple for as long as I can, and then I'll either go in the bag or I'll grab one of my buddies, RJ. He's a cool dude, and he's a good friend of mine, and we just hit pads. He shoots takedowns on me. We just keep working and working. Then after that, I go maybe hang out with my girlfriend for a little bit, and then I go back to the gym again. I usually go to Law then, and I do the MMA class.
Okay.
And it's mainly just the MMA class, and then Ray Longo's kickboxing class, and then I'll try to grapple after. Just keep going and going and going, and just never stopping, and then being a UFC champ.
That's it, man. I was going to ask you.
The goal of my life. When I do that, then hopefully I can retire undefeated UFC champ.
Now, are you planning on staying in the lightweight division, or do you plan on moving around a little bit? Because it's a matter of a couple pounds here and there, right? But, one of the things fighters often tell me, and you could correct me if I'm wrong as well, but the hardest part about fighting is the weight cut. Yeah. Obviously training and camp is hard, but once you get into that week of the fight and you got to drop 10 pounds or, whatever. I mean, I've heard of guys dropping 20 pounds in a week, which is, it could get a little spicy, right?
Yeah. I try to do it smart. Like, me and my dad have this foundation. We like to do it, accumulatively, like not all in one shot, because we don't want to shock our body and then get tired during the fight. So you like to do it all just one steady climb, day by day, just trying to keep losing weight and just do it in a healthy way. And pretty much like that. So I don't shock my body and do it all in one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. And that I think is really a smart way to do it, because then you don't, you see it all the time too. You have great fighters that come in and, they're trying to especially noticeable when people take a fight on short notice, right? So they take a fight on short notice. And then, they get to a point where, okay, I got to cut all this weight in like a week. And they drop it so fast, but then, and it amazes me whenever somebody does that, and can still fight really well, because that takes a hell of a lot out of you when you got to drop that quickly, for a fight. I mean, I could give you an example of someone who pulled it off really great. James Gonzalez, one of your teammates. And he fought, for the title with Pat Sabatini. He took that fight in like 6 or 7 days notice, and he cut weight.
Yeah, he's always in shape. Yeah.
And he was ready to go. He was ready.
Yeah, you're right. That's the hardest part about fighting, is being ready for those short notice moments, and really just always keeping your weight down, because, sometimes I'm a little guilty of it. Like, you gotta fight, and then you kind of want to eat a little bit, and then eat a little bit, and you're like, damn. So yeah, that's something I need to work on. But me and my dad is gonna he's gonna kill me.
You gotta eat right. Well, that's
I was starving.
Well, that's it about weight cut. You're cutting all this weight. You're drinking a ton of water at first. You're dropping water like crazy, and then you're like eating a pea, or eating a carrot.
And then when you make the weight, you're like, oh, I could drink now. You drink all that water, comes back. But that's the thing. That's just how it is. That's just the fight game. Well, but I'm big 55er, so. Yeah, I'm like 70, 178 probably, and then
I was going to ask you what your walk around weight is. Like,
because I'm tall. That's the thing, I'm like 6 foot, so
yeah. You're tall. You're a tall guy, man. There's no doubt about it, and and that's only serves you well in those divisions, right? You cut weight to 55. From 170, 178, somewhere in that area. That's a heck of a cut, but doing it gradually is definitely the smart way to do it. And then coming in there is a big 155, because you're gonna weigh 55 for probably about the morning.
Yeah.
And then
like 20 pounds.
Then you come in 10 pounds heavier for the fight, right? I mean, generally, you could put on 10 pounds, 15 pounds overnight if but you also got to be careful too, because your body has been going through this thing. Now, you got to balance that meal, right? You can't just go and eat a bunch of crap, because now you're going to screw yourself up, right? And you don't want to walk into a ring or a cage with that kind of, anything going on. So
exactly. I know the UFC likes to give short notice stuff. So like 6 days, 3 days, boom. If it's a UFC shot, I'm taking it no matter where my weight is.
You're going to just go for it.
But my dad always tells me, Bernard Hopkins, he always had and he was fighting till he was like 40 something.
Yeah.
I think he was able to do it because he always said he doesn't try to go above 10 pounds of his weight limit.
Yeah. Yeah. So stay close to the weight, right? Because that way you could, because that's the thing too, right? You got to be ready when you get that call.
Yeah.
Because if you say no, you may not get that opportunity again.
Can't say no.
It's like, you can't say, okay, we got to fight for you in the UFC, but you got 5 days to get ready. And you're up a bunch of, that's why you got to be careful not to be up a bunch of weight. And and then all of a sudden, if you say no to that, you're going to get, I don't think it'll ruin you forever, but you may not get that call again. And if you don't make weight, you got even another problem. So that's a whole other
going back on my diet, keep my weight down.
So what is it? So let's go into that for a second. What does a normal diet look for you? Like when you're kind of training and you're really concentrating and you're focused, what's a normal day of diet, your diet look like?
Yeah, I've been really working on my diet. It takes
It's hard, man.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing
fresh after a fight, for some reason, I've fantasized about all the foods that I was fantasizing about during the weight cut. And then it's like, all right, I won. Yes, I can celebrate. I'm going to go eat like crazy. I go eat like cheeseburgers is what I love. I'll eat cheeseburgers, all that unhealthy shit. But then once it all goes away, like once it's time for another fight, then I start eating healthy. So I like to stay with as vegetables, grilled chicken, just the basics, the boring stuff. I like the salmon, avocado.
Okay.
And I like to have small meals, And
Yeah, well, they say that's kind of the best thing for people is to have multiple small meals a day rather than eating, because we grew up as Americans and the rest of the world doesn't actually function this way. But growing up, in this country, we're taught, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then some munchies and crap after that, whatever. But, and that's kind of what the American diet mainly is. But, in a lot of places, it's, you're eating smaller meals maybe 4 or 5 times a day, which, they say may be better. And then there's other people who argue the fact the other way, and they say fasting is the way to go.
Yeah, I like fasting too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you feel good, right? You got to be used to being hungry a little bit.
I don't like training feeling really full, I like training on, not like an empty stomach, but where I can move. I don't feel food in my stomach and stuff.
Yeah, you don't feel bogged down or bricked down by food, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That can happen. I mean, I've done it both ways. I mean, I train a lot. I train AM, PM, a lot of different kind of stuff, Olympic weightlifting, that kind of stuff. But, it's also, I've done it where I've, left myself hungry, and I tend to do better when I'm a little bit hungry. When I'm a little bit hungry, if I eat first, I'm like, I feel sluggish. It takes me a while to get into it. Sometimes I don't feel like being there. Like you get into all that stuff. So, I think that, you got to find what works best for you, I think, right? You got to find that individual thing.
Diet's a crazy thing, man, because everybody has like, oh, you got to do it this way. You got to do it this way. Somebody else will be this way. And it's a thing that can kind of mess you up. Like, get you confused. I think everybody's body is different. So the one thing I would just say is just make sure you're eating the right stuff, just make sure you're getting vegetables in there and, just like calcium and stuff that's good for your body. Just try to put nutritious stuff into you.
Yeah. Now, what about, because you brought up an interesting point, and that's, diet is important. What about supplementation? For like, let's say a fighter, I mean, obviously, you're staying within the rules of the game. I mean, that's always the thing. But what about supplementation, like vitamins? Is there anything like that you think is important?
I take the, I got them over here, the what are they called? Let me check real quick.
We're about to do a commercial for whoever this is. There it is. Mega Man. All right.
Actually, I got to take some right now because I didn't have any today.
It's a multivitamin. So shout out to who makes that product? Who's that?
GNC.
All right, GNC Mega Man. There you go. You get a shout out. Maybe we'll get a sponsor out of it. Get a sponsor out of it. It's funny. I would love to you should do this next time. Next time you come on, just have a bunch of products underneath. And every time, you flash on, you'd be like.
You're right. Hold up. Do I have mine? Oh, crap. I don't have it. It's in my car, but I'm sponsored by this guy, Dr. Nature RX. Okay. And he has like CBD products and like THC products.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give a shout out to him. Let me show his stuff.
Show his stuff, man. Absolutely.
And if you want, go follow him. He's got a bunch of good stuff on there. Dr. Nature. I don't know if you can see it.
Dr. Nature. All right, cool.
Dr. Nature RX.
RX. Cool. Yeah, check him out. Go follow him, everybody. Check him out. See what he's up to. I don't know.
He's in Long Beach and Rockville Center.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So, question: What do you have any fights coming up? Do you have anybody on the agenda right now? Do you have anything going on?
I didn't sign a contract yet, but what I'm going to say right now is July 10th, New York, Triton. All
right. July 10th, New York, Triton. You heard it first here. And that'll be broadcast on the internet, right? Because Triton, I believe, always. I saw you fight your last one. Because I was actually in Florida during that fight, and you were in Florida too. But I was like, I even looked because I know a bunch of you guys from Team Sarah-Lago were fighting that night, and I wanted to come. Yeah. But I was like 2.5 hours away from you. So I was in West Palm, I think. Where were you guys at? You were in
Plant City. I don't know if you know what that is. Yeah, it's a really small town, bro.
I looked it up, and I was like, and I had said to my wife when we were kind of. We had a day off the next day, and I was like, we should shoot down there and fly because we were supposed to fly home that day, but we should stay an extra day and fly out the next day and go see those guys fight. And we looked at it would have just been too hard with our schedule to make it work. So I did watch it though. I did watch it on the internet. I did watch you guys fight. And,
Nice.
yeah, you guys kicked ass. I mean, you guys did a hell of a job that night. It was New York versus Florida, right? Is that what it was?
That's pretty cool, right?
And I think New York kicked Florida's ass. Just saying. I don't know.
New York, bro. New York's undefeated. We're the best.
That's it, man. That's it. I think they kicked Florida's ass that night. But so you probably have a fight coming up. Hopefully, if you sign the contract and the contract goes through, and the other person signs the contract, you'll have something on July 10th. Triton. I guess it'll be Triton. Well, I don't know if they've had anything since 18, but if not,
might be
19.
I think it'll be 20.
All right, so 20. So so Triton 20. We'll definitely be checking that out. I want to see you fight. Speaking of interesting fights, did you see the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight?
Yeah.
What'd you think of that, man? What were your thoughts? I got to bring it up, man, because there's a huge thing going on between the MMA community, and they hate Jake Paul.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't, man?
Yeah,
that guy's super hateable.
And I think he likes that. Unfortunately,
yeah, he's using that to
the more you don't like him, the more people want to. They want to see what he's up to, right? And that's
want to see him lose too.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Mayweather is doing that, and then he's took it and just did it 10 times more. Like everyone wanted to see Mayweather lose, right?
Yep.
And with Jake Paul, he was just a douchebag his whole career.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, he's not a likable guy. He comes off as very cocky and arrogant. I was actually watching an interview with him. And he said to Ben Askren, he actually said during and Ben Askren's been around. He's a wrestler and not a striker, not known for his striking at all. And he's been around for a long time. And he was a UFC guy. I mean, he just recently retired, I believe. But, he said to Ben Askren, he goes, "This is the fucking fight game, man." I'm like, really? Really? Yeah. There's no doubt he can hit. I know that. There's no doubt he can hit. It's just, I think you probably think the same thing I do. Let's see what he does in a real boxing fight, like with a real boxer.
Yeah, with a real boxer. I want to see him get tested, and someone's going to put the pressure on him. Don't let him just suffocate the guy, fight him on the inside. I don't think he knows how to fight on the inside. I think if someone puts that pressure on him, he's going to gas out and become a little, punk.
So you don't think, like the old Randy Couture style, right? Where you come in, you dirty box the hell out of somebody.
Yeah, just hand fight him. Yeah, hit him with some body shots up close, and just freaking suffocate his punches. Don't let him punch you back. Put that real gritty pressure on him.
Yeah, I was so hoping that I would see Ben shoot for a double leg or something, and just say to hell with it, and just put him down on the ground. Even if he got disqualified, who cares? I mean, because I don't think it mattered anyway. It's kind of interesting to boast a 3-0 record on that. But, because you got to remember, and this as well as I do, because you've trained boxing and you've trained MMA. You know both sports really well. And I say both sports. They are two completely different sports. Yep. Boxing is very different than, MMA. In MMA, you could take down, you could throw kicks, you could do a whole bunch of other things. Plus, you're wearing 4-ounce gloves. Makes a big difference. People don't understand the difference between 4-ounce gloves and, let's say, I think, 14 or 12-ounce gloves, right? Yeah. The 12-ounce glove, you roll off punches differently, right? You can block differently. You can do things differently. It's a whole different game. So, they are two different sports. So, and there's room for both of these sports to succeed, right? We don't need to have this competition between MMA and boxing. They're both, I do believe MMA fighters should be paid more than they are. But, there's no reason for the boxing versus MMA thing to be going on. I do understand the hatred for Jake Paul, though.
Yeah. He's an asshole.
There you go. Ready? You're going to see my Jake Paul. Here's my Jake Paul, man. Here we go. Hang on. Bear with me. I'm going to put this on. We're going to do the Jake Paul thing. All right, man. Actually, you know what? I don't know if this is right. Hang on. Let me try something else. Here we go. That's it.
That's a Jake Paul.
That's the Jake Paul. That's the Jake Paul look, man. I'll do my Jake Paul imitation. Yo, man, I'm 3-0, but I haven't fought a boxer yet, man. Haven't fought a boxer yet. I'm 3-0. People have a problem with that. I don't know why people have a problem with that. I also haven't fought anybody in my weight class either. So, hey, I'm just going to go knock people out. I knocked out Nate Robinson. He was a basketball player, man. Knocked out Nate Robinson. Knocked out Ben Askren, who's a wrestler. I knocked out a wrestler in a boxing match. I'm a tough guy. I'm a real tough guy. That's for my next fight. Here we go. For my next fight, I'm going to fight Justin Bieber.
Oh.
I'm going to fight Justin Bieber. That's going to be my next fight. And after that, I'm fighting Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking. What's that? Oh, he died in 18? Well, then I'll definitely win that fight. I'll definitely win against Stephen Hawking. So I'm going to fight him next. So anyway, that's my Jake Paul. Terrible imitation, but fun to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, man. Sometimes you just got to get stupid. But anyway, man. So you got a potential fight coming up. Your third professional, hopefully your third professional fight will be coming up shortly, and you're gonna go in there with a great attitude and kick the crap out of whoever you come up against, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, man. Is there any where can people find you? Where can they follow you?
Follow me on Instagram, KIDD_marvelous_ Justin Montalvo. You can add me on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat if you like Snapchat.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So definitely check out Justin Kid Marvelous Montalvo. Awesome fighter coming up. He's an up-and-coming fighter. He's going to do great. I have no doubt going to be in the UFC at some point down the road. Just keep it up, man. Keep training, and we'll get you back on. I want to get you back on here again.
When the contract gets pulled out and I sign it officially, I'll say who my opponent is, and then I'll give you the whole thing. The
whole rundown, man. Come on Xtreme Lyfe first, man. We'd love to we love to get the inside scoop over here, man. And then I also, next time I get down to Law MMA, I'm bringing a photo with me because I got to get you up on my wall here.
Oh, is that Jenny Nadell I see over there?
That is Jenny Nadell. I got Ken Shamrock over here. I got a signed ring bell by Mike Tyson up there. Yeah, man, that's one of my favorite things right there. I got a ton of people. I have Diana Caravas up there, who
Yep.
Up at you can't really see all of it, but I got a bunch of fighters up there. I got James. I got James Gonzalez.
Nice.
You can't see him, but but I got a lot of. I love to. You know what I love to do with the studio here, man? I put things around me that inspire me, right? My the UFC belt, which I obviously was not the champion.
But, that was really real. Wow.
But I like to put things around me that make me feel good and inspire me. And like I said, someday we'll get a picture up here of you to sign so that you can be part of the wall here. The wall actually goes all the way around the room. So
that's awesome.
So we'll
wait for that.
All right, man. So we'll get you on there. But, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll get down to Law MMA soon and be able to do some training down there with you guys. I haven't been down in a little while, but, I'm looking forward to maybe getting back into it once this whole craziness that we've been going through kind of wraps up, So love to get back down there. So
don't forget to bring the Jake Paul.
How killed would I be if I walked in there with that?
I'll make a video. I'll put you in it, and then I'll be like, I'll put you as the Jake Paul impersonator.
Yeah, and then you could, what we'll do? We'll do a boxing match. You could knock me out, and I'll be Jake Paul. So
we'll put the body shield. We'll do the body shot challenge like Ryan Garcia does.
There you go.
Drop you, and then I'll be like, Jake Paul, where you at?
Sounds like a plan, man. I can't wait. Listen, brother, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. You're awesome. Keep it up, man. And we'll talk soon, all right?
Yeah, I can't wait, brother. I'll see you.
Be good, brother.